Today, I'll be discussing my favorite TB2 character, Dio Brando. Now, it should be mentioned that Brando does not have a stand, as it is based on Dio's Part 1 appearance. This means that you get outranged by all humanoid stand users, which is all Part 3 plus characters except for Ghiaccio and Old Joseph from M1s alone. If you don't like that, then pick another character with a stand. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's begin. Dio has access to 6 moves, M1s, and an awakening, just like every other character besides Jotaro, I think, in the game. His first move in base form is Vampiric Assault, which is effectively your barrage, but it has slower hits and does more damage per hit. If this move is stopped in any way, it will immediately go to Heavy Punch, so if there is anyone in front of you when the move ends, they will be knocked back. This move also doesn't have much end lag, making it a decent combo extender if you get the timing right. Up next is Fierce Lunge, which, after a very short startup, lunges you towards your opponent, dealing 10 damage. This move, while it is effectively your strong punch, does no knockback, making it a great combo extender. Your third slot is Hinjaku, or Freeze, as I will call it. After a decent startup, Dio will swipe both hands towards the opponent. If it lands, it deals 15 damage and freezes the opponent. Frozen opponents are slowed heavily, are unable to attack or turn, and cannot roll. Amazing combo starter or extender, but do note that the hitbox is very unforgiving. It also has lots of end lag, so if you miss it, your opponent can easily punish you. Fourth is Space Ripper Stingy Eyes, or SRSE as I will call it. After a short wind-up, you launch 2 beams of Vampiric Essence out of your eyes. The range of this is unknown to me, but if it lands, it deals 15 damage. This is your projectile and a great combo finisher, as I will discuss later. This move also counts as your block break, but seeing as it is fairly difficult to land, I don't recommend it. That just might be a skill issue, though. Fifth is Zombie Horde. After a long startup, but not Zawarudo long, you summon 4 zombies that chase after the nearest enemy, and despawn after about 5 seconds. Once they have locked onto a target, they will not stop chasing until their model disappears or until the 5 seconds run out. They are also about as fast as a sprinting player. Each hit they do deals 5 damage, but they will do several hits if you successfully. If you're playing Jug, this is a great option for crowd control. Also keeps your opponent on their toes in 1v1s, allowing for a 2-pronged attack. Do note that the definition of enemy for zombies is not any player marked as an enemy for some reason, but is instead any player model that is not marked as an ally. This means that zombies will go after Giorno's Mista summon, dead allies who have not respawned yet, and probably a couple more that I can't mention. Not sure if they'll go after an ally Dio zombies, but your zombies will not go after themselves. They have about 15 to 25 health, so it is possible to kill them. Your 6th and final move is Life Drain, or Suck, as I like to call it. This is, in my opinion, your best move outside of your awakenings. It is a blockable command grab that deals 15 to 17.5 damage, I don't remember the specifics, and does knockback. If used, you gain 10 HP, but of course your HP cannot go over 100. This move also has a very dumb hitbox. It is incredibly easy to land this move, except when it's incredibly hard to land this move. If you think you can land it, you can't. If you think it will miss, it doesn't. This move also has a bit of end lag, leaving you open to another SRSE if you're fighting another Dio Part 1, one of Caesar's funny bubble moves, or Bruno's Portal Punch that I can't remember the name of, along with some others. In your awakened form, you have a few buffs. Vampiric Assault now does 2 damage per hit rather than 1.5. Freeze now does 17.5 damage rather than 15, and SRSE now does 20 damage instead of 15. Your M1s are not buffed, they still do 3 damage, and Life Drain seems to be the same. You also have access to 2 new moves. Fierce Lunge has been replaced with a counter, which upon being hit by a melee move that isn't a grab, freezes your opponent for a shorter amount of time than your actual freeze move does, and deals 10 damage. Zombie Horde is also replaced with Zombie Knights, which is, in my opinion, the single best move Dio Brando has access to. It summons 2 zombies instead of 4, based on the Tarkus and Bruford from Part 1. But not only do these two have a lot of health, they also deal a lot more damage than the zombie horde, and last for about 10 seconds instead of 5. Tarkus deals 10 damage per hit, while Bruford deals 5. These two seem to have the same AI as zombie horde, so they may go after non-enemies. Together, Bruford and Tarkus seem like a second player with the sheer damage output and health they possess. A very simple bread and butter combo for unawakened Dio Brando is Fierce Lunge, Vampiric Assault, SRSE. Knockback moves in this game send your opponent where you face, rather than away from where they face, which is a very important distinction. That means that, even if you're orbiting your opponent while doing Vampiric Assault, as I often do because style and also to avoid barrages, when the strong punch kicks in, they are always in front of you, leaving them open for an SRSE. I recommend Vampiric Assault for this and not Life Drain, as Life Drain's end lag is too long and your opponent can roll away before you use SRSE, leaving you open for a punish if you're not careful. If you're an elite gamer, here's what I suggest. 4M1s, Freeze, 4M1s, Fierce Lunge, Vampiric Assault, SRSE, Roll, Life Drain. If pulled off correctly, this will one-shot your opponent. However, Life Drain's hitbox, as mentioned previously, does not make sense, so if you miss the Life Drain, then you're open for a very harsh punish. To avoid this, start with M1s if possible before using Life Drain, as Life Drain is very easy to use after a couple M1s. I haven't actually tried this, so let me know how it goes, I guess. For Awakening combos, Vampiric Assault plus SRSE is still a very good combo, but without Fierce Lunge, you lose out on the extra 10 damage. This is made up for by the plus 5 damage to SRSE and the plus 0.5 damage on each Vampiric Assault hit though. Counter is also a great combo starter, as instead of doing knockback, it freezes your opponent. My go-to Awakening combo is Counter, 4M1s, Freeze, 4M1s, Vampiric Assault, SRSE. Since Dio Brando does not have a stand, it is vitally important to keep your distance whenever possible. Being barraged is a big fear for Brando players, and basically all stand users have real barrages. If you are being barraged, try to get as close to the opponent as possible, and try to get to one of their sides. This will break you out and allow for a punish. Make sure to use moves with a short startup though, as your opponent can simply turn and you're back in the barrage. Fierce Lunge is my go-to in these situations, as it also cancels barrages. Also, never use zombies when you are about to start a combo or in the middle of a combo. Zombies are quite unpredictable, so they're better off to just throw out than to combo off of. They can also be used at the end of combos, as they can buy you some time to recharge your cooldowns. Speaking of zombies, competent players will just try to block zombies if you use them, which will leave them open for an SRSE, as it's a ranged block break. Just note that, since it's hard to see your opponent if they're covered in zombies, it is very easy to miss SRSE. Dio struggles against AoE moves. Akira, Ghiaccio, the other Dio, and Caesar all have good AoE options that Brando struggles against, especially if you don't have SRSE off cooldown. Zombies get taken to school by AoE moves, and Brando's only other ranged option is SRSE, which is often used as a combo finisher. This is another reason why, unless most of your moves are off cooldown, you should keep your distance. However, a bad player using one of these characters may use the AoE move to deal with your zombies instead of you, leaving them without your biggest counter. Ghiaccio does have multiple AoEs though, and I still don't know what Akira's glowy balls do, so those will be a problem still. Dio Brando is a very good character, and one that I don't see a lot of attention with. Everyone is always crazy about Giorno's 90% combo in his base, but if used right, Brando can one-shot in his base. Perhaps they just can't handle non-stand characters. Well, with that out of the way, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to do all the things that any sellout would ask you to do. Hit the red button so it becomes gray, click the bell button so it becomes annoying, and type plenty things in the comments so the algorithm likes this video. Ciao!